and welcome to the Bullcast Podcast. I'm Court Winsett, and I'm here with my co-host.
Host? What is
Co-host.
You can't just quit trying to make fetch happen, okay?
Hang on, this is not normal. I don't know if I like it.
I mean, you know.
Hello and welcome to Bullcast Podcast. I'm Katie Pickler, and with me is Cortland Winsett, Cameron Spann.
Oh, now we're calling me Cortland.
Cortland, yes. And Gobble Gobble.
Gobble Gobble, indeed.
I do like that both of y'all introduced me, because you never introduced me.
Well, the thing is, we have to admit it. You are a crucial part of this. You've always been crucial because you are the master behind the scenes, editing this, making sure it's published to you guys.
Keep going.
We really have enjoyed having Cam be a part. You're a part of this. You chime in because really, guys, we've been doing this for a long time, and y'all are probably sick and tired of hearing
70-something episodes now.
Sick and tired of hearing just me and Court talk. And so I think bringing in a perspective of Cam. So yeah,
I'm tired of hearing me talk.
I think we got to admit that we are a tripod now. There's three of us.
Wow.
All right, well, that's the episode. All about me. Okay, well.
No.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, today's episode is going to be about Cameron. We're going to talk, it's all things Cameron. No, actually, we are a week out from Thanksgiving. And of course, on Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, on Thanksgiving, you will get an episode where we are dedicated. We will give you an episode on Thanksgiving Day because we do come out every Thursday, but it will be an abbreviated episode as usual. And so this week is our Thanksgiving episode, even though there's more to come.
Yeah, we kind of wanted to just talk about Thanksgiving in a very open conversation because it's expensive.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes with it. And I know last year for Thanksgiving, we kind of talked about the conversations that come up at the dinner table. And
we did an episode about not loaning people money. Mm-hmm. We did an episode about the side dishes.
The great debate of that.
We've talked about planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah. So we covered all that, but there's still a lot to cover with Thanksgiving.
So let's just talk about the cost of actually hosting a Thanksgiving.
Oh my God.
Because there's an emotional cost for sure. There's the stress of you are the chosen one that you are hosting. And I think it looks different for everybody. Are you hosting just the location and people are bringing all the food to you? Are you hosting and doing everything? Because there's the stress of you got to get your house clean. So that may be financial because you got to pay somebody maybe to come deep clean your house.
We got to pay a lot of people.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people coming in to clean our house and to help us prepare food because we don't prepare food.
Yeah, we've got cleaners coming in next week, the night before.
Oh, are you hosting?
No, we're having some siblings spend the night with us, but my parents are hosting.
Oh, okay.
See, that's the other element of it. People coming into town and figuring that part out.
Yeah.
And then just making sure you've got things picked up for where people are going to put their coats or somebody's staying at your house or, making sure you've got plenty of ice. And before you even get to the food part, it's just the logistics of, is your house clean? Is your sanity okay? Because everybody's about to come in.
Well, and I know we don't like to discuss it, but really the pandemic threw everybody into disarray over the last year. So we might be getting back to normal this year, maybe. A little bit more normal anyway. Last year, we had our family Thanksgiving was outdoors at picnic tables.
Yeah. A lot of people did that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now with the vaccines out there, and, we're not going to, that's something don't talk about at your Thanksgiving table if who's vaccinated and who's not.
Please, God, don't bring up.
But it looks different for everybody, and I think this is something that for some families, it's, it's a tradition. It's been passed down. Someone's taking responsibility, but then as parents age, then it's like trying to figure out, okay, who's going to take over responsibility? And one of the things that I was thinking about is, as a kid, you just think, oh, okay, we're going to Aunt B's house for Thanksgiving. You think, okay, cool, we're going to go over and eat at Aunt B's house. Mm-hmm. You don't think about how much time and money has gone into the actual preparation.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a really short story. I'm going to make it as short as I possibly can. As a kid, my favorite holiday was Christmas because I got all the presents. Mm-hmm. Then as an adult, I was like, I actually love Thanksgiving because I see all of the same people and I eat all of the same food, but I'm not stressed about giving my kids presents, giving my wife presents, giving, there's not that gift giving stress.
It's just coming together.
Everybody gets together. that was until I realized that Thanksgiving is hard if you're the one that's hosting it. I had never had to host it, so I was like, "Yeah, Thanksgiving is my favorite my favorite holiday because it's so easy." Yeah, it's not easy. It's just that I wasn't the one that was hosting it. So,
well, and the drama of when you get married, then and trying to figure out like,
oh my Lord.
Well, this is how my family does Thanksgiving. I go to my family's Thanksgiving, but then if it conflicts with your spouses, and it's like, do you alternate? I know some people alternate years.
Oh, there was a
who they
time.
Go to.
There was a time when my wife and I were doing 5 Thanksgiving dinners a year. 5
in a day?
year. No. We would do 1 on Wednesday and then 4 on Thursday.
Whew.
The Spann siblings were all synced up, which is so nice. So this year, all the Spann kids
Sounds like
are getting together for
like...
for Thanksgiving,
Oh,
and
nice.
then Christmas this year, we're all doing it with the in-laws. And then next year, we'll get together for Christmas, but Thanksgiving is apart. So it's a nice little schedule we've got.
See, we've got my sibling and I, one of my siblings and I are in town, and one of my siblings is out of town. And my sibling that is out of town always spends Thanksgiving with the in-laws and always comes to our parents' house for Christmas. And I hate that because Thanksgiving really is my favorite holiday. Even if I have to host it, Thanksgiving really is my favorite holiday. You know, I'm not a particularly overly earnest or cheesy person, but you know, it's all about just getting together with family and giving thanks. So
I'm great at showing up and just eating and taking a nap. I mean, that's my skill.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I hate about Thanksgiving is the fact that I have to go to work the next day.
Katie, have you hosted Thanksgiving yet?
I have not. I have offered to host, but the idea of taking over, because I feel like in my family, if I was to be the one to agree to host, I wouldn't just host a location. I would also be actively helping with the food. And it's a catch-22 because my mom always hosts. And my granny used to host, and my mom was very active in cooking and everything. And then my mom, when my granny passed away, then she agreed to host. And she pretty much was hosting before anyways. It was just at granny's house.
So now it's at your parents' house?
Now it's at my parents' house. But the idea of the responsibility of potentially messing up this important meal. Because the letter that my mom has an 8-page letter from, I think, my great-grandmother that explains how to cook the turkey and how to make the dressing. And she wrote it to my mom the November after my parents got married. And so intertwined.
That's cool. Does she still have the original?
Oh, yes. She
That's
still
amazing.
has it. Whoa. Intertwined in this letter is the recipe, but it's not one of those that you can just go, here's the recipe. It's like, okay, well, this is what I would always do for this person, and while you're doing this, I typically would do this. Like, it's just a beautiful story. And I've helped some with it, but the stress would I don't know that I could handle that because it's an emotional stress, but also it's just the prepping. And, you know, we have people bring stuff. Like, people have now been dedicated. Okay, you know, Aunt Becca, she brings the cranberry relish because everyone loves it. But there's sometimes that, you know, I wonder with that the cost, because I, as y'all know, I host a lot of baby showers, wedding showers, all kinds of stuff like that. And a lot of times when someone asks if they can help, you're like, because I've been burned before where I've had someone who's like, oh yeah, I'll bring the Rotel dip. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm not going to worry about that. And then this person showed up to the shower with their crock pot, had not even melted the cheese, had not done anything, and the party was in 20 minutes. So my stress is, as a hostess of Thanksgiving, and you know, my mom's had this role, so I haven't had this yet. When someone asks if they could bring something, if it's someone you know that it's not going to make anything good, what do you say? Like, no, it's okay to show up. Or
well, I guess I'm fortunate in that my family, of all of the family groups, nobody can't make something good.
Okay.
So like everybody in my family, if they're like, hey, what do I bring? I'm like, you bring this because your this is fantastic.
Yeah, I think we all have good cooks in our families. But you hear about the random people that put like raisins in their potato salad. It's like, don't come to my Thanksgiving.
Yeah, dude,
who has potato salad at Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah, it's true.
That's weird.
Here's the potato salad. Why did you bring potato salad? It's Thanksgiving. And it's got raisins in it. Get out.
Hey, Katie, is BB making horseradish dip for Thanksgiving?
No, see,
Come on.
We go very basic. It's just, you know, it's the turkey and the dressing and we call it pecan delight.
We talked about this
we
last
talked about it
year.
last year. It's
Yeah.
actually sweet potatoes, but Granny always called it pecan delight because a lot of people don't like sweet potatoes. So and then we'll have a couple other things, but ours is very basic.
Yeah, basic.
We just keep it very simple, and a lot of it is just, we don't do fancy china. It's just come because we care more about being together and enjoying the meal and not putting a lot of extra stress, because yes, you could have this beautiful Thanksgiving table with the china and the Waterford and all of that, but then somebody's got to go clean that up.
Yeah, that's a pain.
And
listen, I believe that we have, since we got married, and we've been married for a long time, I believe since we got married, my wife and I have hosted Thanksgiving either twice or 3 times. And they were the most stressful days I've ever had.
Yeah.
But it's also, you've got a certain sense of accomplishment when you finish it. It can be fun. It's just, how are you going to break down those costs? How are you gonna separate duties? Who's gonna do what? There is a lot of planning that goes into it. But listen, guys, before we started recording this episode, I actually made an executive decision. I mandated that we were not going to do a list, but everybody knows that we've got to do a list. We have to have some sort of list. So. I was wrong. I admit it. We will do a list. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's your list. Each one of us is going to offer at least one person, dead or alive,
I'm ready.
that they would invite to their Thanksgiving dinner.
Let's do this. Katie, you're first.
Boom.
Oh, her face. I put her on the spot. Who's important to you, like in your life? Like political figure or a religious figure or a movie star? Okay, disclosure. This is a question I always ask in our interviews while we're trying to acquire talent at Pickler companies. I say, what historical figure would you invite to your dinner party?
I think Robin Williams would be fantastic.
Good answer.
To have at your dinner table.
I would almost feel bad about having him, though, because I feel like he would feel like he had to entertain. And I'd like to know the Robin Williams when he's off, but I'm not sure he ever is. I mean, well, now obviously he is.
Can you imagine the impressions he would do around the table?
Oh my God.
The genie.
I've heard nothing but great things about him later in his life.
He would handle any awkward situation if somebody started going down a rabbit hole talking about stuff they shouldn't. And he'd just pivot.
He would make a noise.
Exactly. And I think call out someone if it's like someone's sitting on their butt and everyone else has already taken their plate and they're just sitting there on their phone. He'd be like, get off your phone, take your plate. I think it just would be interesting. I don't know.
I would ask him to do at least one Miss Doubtfire impression.
Hello!
Court, what about you?
Oh, why are you going to me next? It's around the table this way.
Since when do you go counterclockwise? No, it's clockwise, baby.
Listen, mine is a little bit of a cheat because, first of all, it's not just one person, and secondly, I don't know all their names, but I would absolutely, if I had the opportunity to travel back in time or to bring people forward in time, I would want the Founding Fathers. I would want.
That's a good one. Cool.
I mean, just listen, I'm obsessed with the Constitutional Convention. I'm obsessed with the Declaration of Independence. Those guys in a room, and their wives. I would like them to bring their wives because nowadays we're a little bit more evolved than we were back then. But that'd
be interesting.
An extraordinary opportunity to really pick the minds of the people that actually crafted our nation.
Can you imagine asking Alexander his thoughts on the musical Hamilton?
My word!
What would he think about it?
Well, he wouldn't even know what part of it was because it's people speaking.
He's like, what is
rhythm.
hip hop?
Yeah, I mean, he just wouldn't even understand.
It makes me think of that. Have y'all watched the new show Ghost?
Mm-mm.
It's a show and it's about this house and there's ghosts that live there that, for some reason they're in limbo. But one of them is someone who supposedly was friends or knew Hamilton. And it's very interesting. He's like, that guy got a musical? What is this? So I think it'd be interesting to take their take on our take of them. Especially
because, I mean, okay, listen, I'm going to geek out for just a second. I promise it won't take very long. But if you watch the musical Hamilton, or if you've read the book about Hamilton, the biography about Hamilton, the most recent one, it very much casts Jefferson as the bad guy. But then for a large portion of my life, Jefferson was the guy that wrote the Declaration of Independence, and he founded, University of Virginia, and he did all of these great things, and he was amazing. And then turns around and he's a bad guy. And so to have both of them in a room with me at Thanksgiving dinner, are you kidding? That would be so cool. Sorry. Okay, so Cameron, now it's your turn.
This may not surprise you, but I would invite Bono.
Oh, nice.
Because not only is U2 one of my favorite bands, but like Bono's whole thing is peace and unity, and so who better to invite to give thanks? I feel like he'd be a great guest.
And plus, if things got riled up, he'd be like, "Did I bug you? I didn't mean to bug you."
It's a good Dublin accent.
I think this is also the other thing of when someone from the outside comes to your Thanksgiving. Think about that. Like if someone brings their new boyfriend or girlfriend, or someone brings a friend, or like there's just someone there who's not supposed to be there. I know I'm very much like, it's a bad trait, but I don't like when things are different, and I don't like change really well. And I admit it, but it's kind of, we'll get to that on a Christmas episode of like, where do people sit? There's a new person here. What do we do? I'm a little bit like Sheldon Cooper in that way of like, but that's my seat. That's how we've always done it. And so when someone new comes to Thanksgiving, you're kind of like, well, they're sitting in my seat, or
Penny.
they brought what to Thanksgiving?
Penny.
Bono would get a throne. So, you have heard this story. I went to a concert, camped out in 2008 to be like front row of the 360 tour for U2, and it was amazing. And before that, while we were waiting in line, we had an Irish flag and wrote like "coexist" on it. It was Bono bait. We knew he would like that.
Yeah.
And so we held it up, and he took that flag from my hand, and he held it up during Sunday Bloody Sunday.
Oh.
And so I feel like I know him. He doesn't know who I am, but I feel like I'm good friends with him.
know him.
Plus, Katie and I went to his bar in Dublin.
We did.
fantastic.
He didn't show up,
No,
though.
he didn't know.
We
didn't?
waited. No, we waited.
Why not?
Yeah.
Come on, Bono.
Well, so on a financial note about this, let's be realistic. Hopefully you have gotten your plan set up of your ingredients you're going to need for Thanksgiving, because it's expensive this year. Inflation has gone up.
Oh.
Supply chain is difficult.
Well, inflation by
finding things.
definition it goes up because
yes. Thank you, smart butt.
the inflation rate has gone up.
Inflation rate, yes. Things are getting more expensive,
They are
and
indeed.
finding things are very difficult. And so it's figuring out your budget, making sure it fits. I read something about, if you're hosting a small Thanksgiving, you may not need the big turkey, but sometimes when you look at it, either you can't find the smaller turkeys, or the cost-wise, it's cheaper to actually get a bigger turkey.
Yeah, it's one of those that people are going to grab the cheaper turkeys from the grocery store faster.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be gone sooner.
Yeah, but I mean, you see all the movies that talk about like trying to find the last turkey and trying to find less ham, stuff like that, whatever you serve. But yeah, it's planning your budget out and getting the ingredients you need. And it is how do you divide it out? Do people help out? I made a joke. Is there like a pot of money that you everyone chips in, and it's like you've got to. If there's someone who always hosts, or maybe it's a revolving of who hosts, but you just have this set money that every year you can pull from that to pay for holiday meals, because it's
Can you
expensive.
imagine having like a Thanksgiving trust?
I mean, yeah.
Like,
That's amazing.
Like a family trust that's just dedicated to
we could
Thanksgiving.
probably do it here. We could set that up for you, but I'm serious. If it's something to kind of consider, because it
Oh,
does
my
get
word.
expensive, and you as the hostess, you want to make sure you have a nice meal, you have enough food for everybody, maybe beverages if you serve alcohol.
Well, yeah.
And
Wait a second. Are there people that don't serve alcohol at
Yes.
Thanksgiving?
Yes,
we
Court.
do not drink.
Oh, my
at
word.
My family does not drink at our Thanksgiving. My husband's family drinks at theirs, and so I
So
have
we are the flip side. My family drinks. 8 a.m. you bring out the Jack and Coke. My wife's family, it's a sober Thanksgiving.
Which Thanksgiving do you go to first, I guess is the key.
Booze giving.
booze giving.
Start off at the booze and then go to the
Yes.
sober.
So at the booze Thanksgiving, people are passing out because they've had too much to drink. At the sober Thanksgiving, it's it's the turkey that's gotten you. You gotten into that
Tryptophan.
coma. Yep.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Well, then why
I
is it
believe
that
it.
there's always people that
Because
of the booze.
I think it's because you eat too much. You stuff yourself and you get so full.
It's a very, very long day. I mean, a lot of people's Thanksgivings start at, noon and go until 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
And especially if you're bouncing between, how do you pace yourself?
Yeah.
Like I feel like you need to get some tips from those professional eaters. And like, what do you do? How do you like get up and
I can't
around?
even. I mean, like, if I go to the first one of the day and there is, my big weakness is potatoes of any kind.
I thought you were going to say vodka.
Well,
potatoes of any kind.
Yes, potatoes, vodka.
No, but like mashed, sautéed, au gratin, vodka, French fries. I don't care. Potatoes are delicious. I will literally load my plate and my cup with potatoes if given the opportunity.
Oh my goodness. But I think one of my good friends, I think I talked about this last year, she said that she would pace herself between the multiple Thanksgivings and she'd just eat, a little bit at one and a little bit at another one. And I'm like, no, you got to try all the things.
No.
And it's stinks because it's like if you have a really, really like something at the first one and you want to get seconds, but you're like, oh, I gotta go to another one.
Another dinner, yeah.
And so the loophole to that is you ask for a little, you bring your own to-go containers and be like, can I just get a little bit?
There's a place in Memphis called Lit, and Lit sells...
great to-go containers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were, where am I going with this? I thought you were going to say the loophole was like take a diuretic and like clear the system, and then you're ready to go for round 2.
All I'm going to say
we were so far into this episode, and now we have to start over.
You probably are going to be miserable and just pace yourself, but hopefully it'll be with good company. And but I think if you are the hostess, we feel your pain. We know that it's expensive.
Highly
it's
stressful.
Emotional.
Yeah.
And then hopefully if you've never hosted, you kind of have a perspective of knowing like, hey, maybe instead of just you offering to bring the rolls, you also say, hey, can I chip in a little bit? Because I know it's expensive. Or just a lot of times the people, I know my mom, if they offer to host, they're never going to say, yes, do this, do that, or whatever. They just want you to appreciate it. And so I think that's a huge form of payment to someone that's not monetary. It's just appreciate and thank the person who does this, because it's so much more than that crazy mad dash of that hour, 2 hours, 3 hours you're there. There's a lot of work that went in on the front end and a lot of work that will go in on the back end.
What are y'all's experiences with Thanksgiving Day as far as the table? Because every movie depiction of Thanksgiving and or Christmas dinner that I have ever seen involves the entire family sitting around one table.
That's bogus.
And we have got tables everywhere.
Also, what's depicted, y'all may do this, is like the huge feast on the table. We always do buffet, and then you take the food to the table.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're totally buffet.
You can't because
every movie it's like the table's loaded up. I'm like, that's bogus.
That, and they cut the turkey right there in front of you at the table.
Come on now.
I mean, that it may be some people, and with the world of Instagram now, I'm sure they have that. But yeah, I think it's always buffet style because there are other people contributing food. So you've got like the different like dishes and stuff if people have brought things. But yeah, I know with Daniel's family, my husband's family, there is a dedicated card table that is like, oh, that gets pulled out for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and these are the chairs that go with it. And yes, you put like a tablecloth on it, so it's not. But I know with my family, it's when we were at my granny's house, there was the kids' table, and I forever will always be at the kids' table pretty much. And it's just, I mean,
we did have
you choose to do that. You don't want to be at the adult table because that's a totally different conversation than the kids' table.
When I was a kid and when my kids were kids, we did have a kids' table, but there was always at least a couple of adults that sat at the kids' table. I mean, I can't recall a time when there weren't in my particular Thanksgiving dinner, there weren't people just spread out all over the place. There were always at least 3 tables, I think.
Well, and if you have a lot of people and are doing buffet style, then it could be by
and
the
then there
time
are people
the
that
first one, gets down, sits down, they're ready to
Gets
get in line.
down and sits down.
They eat their food and they may be ready for seconds by the time the last person is going through the first time. I know my uncle Tone, he a lot of times we tell him to go first, and we want him to go first, but then he'll patiently wait and make sure that everybody has gone through at least once before he goes. But it's almost like just a constant rotation of that buffet line, and we don't have that many people, so these big families, I don't know how they do it. You don't ever have everybody sitting at once except for maybe like dessert time.
Get on the bus, y'all.
Katie, I'm intrigued here.
What?
On this outline, I see the buddy system. What is the buddy system?
I was Googling how to survive Thanksgiving and stuff like that, and somebody was like, they put on there the buddy system, and it was that if you feel like it's going to be a tense Thanksgiving or there's conversations, then you kind of have your buddy that y'all kind of have your code words to get out of things or to direct the conversation a different way. But all I could think about was the movie Heavyweights, which Court still has not seen, and he needs to see.
I have not seen it.
But there's a scene in there about
we've had a whole conversation about why y'all bring up movies that I'm like, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Court was in college when that came out.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is we're very much in the age of, oh, well,
Aquarius?
I'm not eating, I'm not eating gluten, or I'm not doing this. And there are legit real allergies that people have. But for the most part, those people I know who have like a true allergy or truly doing something because they have to, they're going to take care of themselves. They're going to be like, hey, I'm going to bring this because I know I can't eat that. Mm-hmm. But I didn't realize this was a thing, but apparently there's a whole taboo of like, you don't ask where the turkey came from. And I'm going, who the heck is asking where the turkey came from? I'm not going to be like, excuse me, is that free range? Where did this turkey come from? Where did it live? What was its life?
I want to know its name. I want to know.
I will only fuss if it's tofurkey. But if it's real turkey, I don't care.
Yeah.
I want turducken.
Ooh, yeah.
I've never had turducken. I've heard of it. Well, I've never had it.
Turkey stuffed with the duck, stuffed with the chicken.
Yeah.
Y'all, and the other financial thing we haven't even talked about is the medical. Think about the people that get injured for Thanksgiving because they try and deep fry a turkey. That may just be a Southern thing, y'all who are listening, who are up north, but like that happens all the time. The 3rd-degree burns, the like turkey that gets shot up in the air. And then what are you left to do? Go to the Chinese restaurant because you don't have a freaking turkey because you just destroyed it.
There was a movie where they went to the Chinese restaurant.
Christmas Story.
It's a Christmas story.
But
and that was Christmas Day.
I was wondering why you were throwing in Chinese restaurant on a Thanksgiving episode.
It sounds good to me.
I love Chinese. I'll eat some Chinese.
But you think about it, like you're putting... Like, it's a lot of pressure. You have prepared everything else. You've got this turkey. You better hope that this turkey is going to turn out because that is the centerpiece of your meal.
But really, is it? I mean, if you think about it,
it is, man. It's Thanksgiving.
Really? Yeah. But I mean, picture-wise, sure. You want a picture-perfect Thanksgiving dinner, then you've got that golden brown turkey. Yeah. But like we said, at my Thanksgiving dinner, the turkey is pre-sliced.
Yeah,
and
ours is pre-sliced
it's on
too.
A platter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how sliced, but I cannot imagine a Thanksgiving that didn't have turkey.
Are y'all light or dark?
Dark meat, baby.
Dark all the way.
I'm macaroni and cheese, potatoes.
I didn't say you have to like turkey, but just to have it there.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So here's the thing that we haven't discussed, at least this time. I don't know if we discussed it last year, but leftovers. Leftovers is a big deal in my family.
There's actually
like
TV
who gets
shows.
It, how much you take, how many nights are you going to have turkey sandwiches after Thanksgiving?
But they've got these cooking shows now that show like how to reinvent your Thanksgiving leftovers and turn them into new dishes. And
that's no fun though, because that requires work. The fun of leftovers is it's delicious and it's easy.
I would eat. I have eaten dressing for breakfast the next morning.
Oh, sure.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I don't care about the turkey as much, but like, give me a bowl of some dressing. I will eat that until I'm like sick, like look like Veruca from Willy Wonka.
Now, I will say, Friday morning I get up and go to work. Mm-hmm. So very rarely do I enjoy the whole leftover from Thanksgiving on Friday. But on Saturday, I will wake up and I will make myself, at like 6 o'clock in the morning, I will make myself a Thanksgiving plate and cover it in hot sauce and turn on the TV and just sit there and watch TV all day. There's football. There's all sorts of things you can watch on Saturday. Oh, it's My mouth, guys, is actually
mine is too.
I know. I'm already thinking about it.
hungry.
And it works out perfect, though, because Daniel can get his leftovers from his family. I can get my leftovers from my family. And we have our own dressing that we can eat. We last year did try and mix the two, and no, they don't go together. We need to keep them separate.
My mom, and
but
I
then
think
adds the stress of if I ever agree to host either of the families, what do we do? Do we have two dressings? Because there is a great debate with that.
it's an interesting thing.
How does it evolve?
Okay, so Byron and I, y'all have met Byron. Well, if you've listened to the podcast, you've met Byron, my brother. He was on for
White crimes.
Yeah, white crimes, white collar crimes.
White collar
crimes.
Wow. White crimes.
White crimes.
Oh, my Lanta.
That took a turn. All right, continue. Byron, we've met him.
Byron.
So for a minute there, Byron and I were agreeing that we were going to swap off Thanksgivings. He would do it one year and I would do it the next, because my parents have been doing it all their lives and they were tired.
Yeah.
And so for a couple of years, I did it and we would swap off. I would do it and then he would do it. And on the years that I did it, my wife's in-laws, or my in-laws, my wife's family was there. And on the years that Byron did it, his wife's family was there. And then, so
and that changes the dynamics
much.
It
absolutely does. And so my dream, my goal was to have a place big enough where we could have
everybody
just all in one place at the same time. I think that would be amazing.
I mean, I guess if you have enough people, then it could be kind of like this, Modge Podge of, I just added my image, Clueless, when Cher is just what if they don't RSVP? You just go to the kitchen and you just rearrange a little bit. I'm picturing this merged Thanksgiving where you just go into the kitchen and it's just we're going to have your turkey and your dressing and your dressing, and we're just going to have everybody's and have just this buku of all of the things.
All of the things.
From a beautiful mix of the two. And
it's a beautiful mix of the two.
I don't know. But then, it makes everybody happy.
Well, before Byron and I started combining Thanksgiving, or trying to anyway, ultimately COVID killed that dream, and it's back to my parents hosting. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. But before we tried to co-host, it used to be a thing where my mom and my aunt, my mom's sister, both made stuffing, and their recipes were different. And I probably mentioned this last year because it's a classic family story, but all of my mom's kids loved my aunt's stuffing, and all of my aunt's kids loved my mom's stuffing.
Yeah.
And so every year, Mom and Joe both had to make stuffing to bring to Thanksgiving because everybody wanted the other stuffing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, we like my mom's dressing so much that, my mom's side of the family, everybody, we requested it for Christmas, and then we do a reunion every year, and we've requested it for a reunion, just the dressing. So, I mean, it's people.
So hungry.
I know, I'm starving.
I'm actually drooling.
Does the Highlander serve turkey?
Turkey and dressing. But we'll try and wrap this up because we have been ranting for a long time. There's a lot of financial that goes into this. And so it's considering, adding this into your budget if you agree to host, knowing what you're getting into, but also being considerate of whoever's house or houses you're going to.
And let's make it a new thing for those people out there that have not in the past done it, and that think it is taboo or verboten. Let's make it a thing where it's okay to actually offer to pitch in.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a terrible cook, but let me toss you a $100.
Yeah, let me throw some money in for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you know what? Make it happen. The Thanksgiving Trust. Make it happen.
It's a beautiful idea. I'm amazed that we don't already have this as a product that we offer. Thanksgiving
if
Trust.
you've got a big family, consider it. I mean, Cam, you've got all your siblings. Consider
big
a
old
little
family.
A fund of this is, and it could be the holiday fund that's where you pull from. So there's no one sibling that's burdened with
whoever
the
is
majority
hosting.
of it. Yeah,
they get to draw from the trust for the expenses
that you know that
There's
you
a
have
trustee
it,
and so
because it's a business. You think about it with
ladies
the
and
family.
gentlemen, you are welcome. This podcast was brought to you by the idea of a Thanksgiving trust.
We're gonna call it a holiday trust.
A holiday trust.
Love that. And you know what, guys? Is your turkey dry as a bone? Is your stuffing wet? Pie underdone? No worries. This is one meal out of 1,000 that you'll have eaten this year. So what if it's not perfect? Someone made it with love, if not skill. And that should be enough today. It's like a commercial.
Yes, it was.
But that's true.
Wet stuffing.
I mean, I think we put so much emphasis on this meal being absolutely perfect. And I know from helping with my mom, it just feels like it goes by in a flash. And
I've never, I mean, maybe I'm fortunate. Maybe I'm just overprivileged and I'm spoiled and whatever else. But
You're spoiled.
I've never had a bad Thanksgiving meal.
no, mine's always been great. I've never
been
had a
great.
bad experience.
Yeah.
And I've never really had that awkward of conversations. It could be some that was just very superficial conversations at times, but yeah, I think it's a good time to be together and just remember why you're together and offer to help out, because it's a financial and emotional burden.
Yeah,
for
listen,
sure.
if you know that the person that's hosting is not going to take your money or be offended by taking your money, then find other ways that you can pitch in, because hosting is a. I'm just saying it. I just threw it out.
And I just beeped that out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to do a wrap up. We're not going to do a bullseye this week. We're just going to do a closing statement. Cameron?
Well, we have another Thanksgiving episode coming up, so I can't say Happy Thanksgiving.
The next time you hear from us, it will be on Thanksgiving Day. Those of our dedicated fans that will actually download on Thanksgiving Day.
I'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Look, this year's been hard. Last year was hard. This year's been hard. I know it sounds corny, but think
Corn
about
at Thanksgiving? Do you do corn at Thanksgiving?
Let Katie speak.
just think about what you're thankful for. I know that sounds corny, but just think about it. You don't even have to announce it round robin at the dinner table, but just really.
Oh, please, God, don't. Please, God, don't announce what you're thankful for round robin at the table. That is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, just think about what you're thankful for. And maybe even if you can't financially give anything, just thank the people who were there and
Listen,
for the opportunity.
Go out in the backyard, shoot a pigeon with a BB gun, fry that mother up. It's going to be delicious. Oh, there's the closing bell. Ladies and gentlemen, you have made it to the end of
a very
interesting episode of the Bullcast podcast. If you liked what you heard and this is your first one, there are no other episodes that are like this one. So feel free to go back and listen to the other ones, but you're not going to have the same experience. If you'd like to find out more about me and Katie, please feel free to go to our website.
And
Bullcast,
Cam.
and Cameron. Although Cameron's picture and is your bio on the website?
Yeah, I snuck that one on there.
Oh, nice. Okay, so me, Cameron, and Katie, you can find out more about all three of us on our website. That's bullcastpodcast.com. We also have an Instagram and Twitter handle. That's at bullcastpodcast. And we work at a place called Pickler Wealth Advisors. And if you would like to find out more about what we actually do for a job in our normal lives, please feel free to go to our website. That's picklerwealthadvisors.com.
That's advisors with an O.
Not an E.
There is all the information that you could possibly want to have on that website, ladies and gentlemen. Please feel free to go there and find out about us, because that's all we're about, is us. I've given you plenty to go on with. So for now, I'm Court.
I'm Katie.
I'm Cam.
And we out.